My name is Sally Smith. I'm the Support Manager for Clinical Operations for the Northern New South Wales Local Health District. We span just over 20,000 kilometres from Tweed Heads in the north to Grafton in the south. Vast area, a lot of people, and geographically challenged. So our work with the Colonoscopy Clinical Care Standard really started from an accreditation assessment for one of our sectors in the local health district, where the assessor under clinical governance was going to award us a not met for Colonoscopy Clinical Care Standard. So that really triggered the team to really have a look at what we were performing in, what we weren't performing in, and seeing what we could improve. We had 60 days for him to come back and reassess the work that we had undertaken to demonstrate that we could meet the care standard. I think a few different emotions came across the team. So one, we always look at the feedback from the assessors as positives and opportunities for us to grow. Second aspect, with this particular clinical care standard and the work that we needed to do, it wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't rush off and do a quick audit to demonstrate that we're compliant with something. We had to establish governance processes, systems and procedures to be able to demonstrate the elements of the care standard we weren't meeting. So that was where our work really started to focus on, looking at how we can measure the variation in practice for the Colonoscopy Clinical Care Standard, and then how we can bring that into a standardised reporting and governance structure. When we looked at it, the volume of audits, for example, I thought, well, when we have a look at the amount of colonoscopies we conduct every year and the small sampling we were doing, is a valid point. We really weren't capturing enough to demonstrate that we were monitoring variation in practice appropriately across the district. One of the elements we needed to look at was standardising how we collect the data and reviewing that pre-existing audit tool. The Colonoscopy Clinical Care Standard audit, when it was previously released out to staff, it was up to the nurse unit managers to review 20 records, was pretty much the instruction. So we could have audited 20 records of Dr. A and no records of Dr. B. We found variation in where the auditors were looking for information. So we reviewed every question in the audit and we standardised where we would like people to find that information. One of the major changes that we made was in our collection of some of those key indicators, which was bowel preparation and the physician's ability to reach the cecum. So trying to work out, do we capture that data? How do we currently capture that data? Is that data capture consistent across the district? So we went on a bit of a hunt and gather mission to find out what sites and services were doing in relation to that. Also talking to the physicians to understand their utilisation of the Provation endoscopic software, which was a tool that we had already in existence that did actually capture these elements. One of the major wins we had in that element of the Provation endoscopic software was we were able to make the fields in the Provation software mandatory for the proceduralist to data entry into, so we could capture that data for every colonoscopy that was performed across the district. Not only was it about gathering the data and conducting the audit, it was about the review process and making that review process meaningful, and also giving the review an opportunity to escalate any areas for needing improvement. So the review process really starts at that local level with reviews with the proceduralists at local governance committee meetings. We then feed that up to the next level of our quality and safety committee meetings. Anything by exception or anything that might need addressing, we table that there. That also then goes all the way up to the Northern New South Wales Local Health District Board. The feedback that we received from the assessor on the clinical care standard really opened our eyes that when we do work like this, it's not just a set and forget process. It's that regular monitoring and revisiting to see if anything's changed or can we do something more efficiently is really beneficial. Some of the key learnings was definitely search far and wide for your key stakeholders, bring in your subject matter experts from the get-go. And I think questioning the question, so really having a look at that Colonoscopy Clinical Care Standard and questioning each of the quality statements. So what does this look like? I think we have quite a robust auditing structure in Northern New South Wales Local Health Districts. Lots of audits are undertaken, but providing clinicians on the floor and even senior leaders an understanding of why we're auditing, what is the purpose of the audit. I think we've got teams that are engaged in the process. Previously, I think it was There was a Colonoscopy Clinical Care Standard, we circulated it, and we had an audit. Where now we've got genuine buy-in from all the sites and services that perform colonoscopies and the proceduralists. I've had proceduralists ask, is there any other data we can peer review and update the procedure? And I think clinicians on the floor, sometimes I think the governance and the governance structure is probably the last thing on their mind, and rightly so. They're busy clinicians looking after patients, but I think bringing to light for them to understand that not only do we need the audits conducted, but we need that review process and we need the governance structure in there. Not only are these elements of, amending the audit structure and providing the governance, that really actually comes down to, in the end, providing better patient care for all those that come and have a colonoscopy with the Northern New South Wales Local Health Districts. I think one of the best results we've had, and we use the term all the time, but the collaboration involved to get this project in such a short time frame, established and reviewed again in that 60-day period, was, I think, one of our best achievements. The way the district came together to achieve that was a really proud moment for us.